Assalamu alaikum. I begin in the name of Allah, the entirely merciful and specially merciful. Welcome to the 13th Muslim Mental Health Conference, Restorative Healing and Liberation in Context. I know Friday and 13 together sounds ominous, but magic of Muslim mental health is gonna make it a very good learning experience. And hopefully not only you will hear from some of the best in the field, but this is also a platform to come together, to communicate, collaborate, support each other. So we are hoping to achieve all that. These 13 years have been long, tedious, hard road. A lot of personal and professional sacrifices, but worth every step of the way. Every person that came along has contributed, has augmented the impact, and we hope to continue to grow. I cannot be thankful enough to this next person who is also my boss, Chair of Psychiatry Department, Dr. Magen, who I call the most Muslim, non-Muslim you would ever come across. So I will have Dr. Magen say a few words of welcome to welcome you all.
Well, thank you. So I'm Jed Magen. I'm chair of the Department of Psychiatry here at Michigan State University. And just a brief little bit about the university. Michigan State University is the 8th largest university in the United States, a top 100 university in the world, and we have a global reach. We have cooperative arrangements with multiple countries around the world. For instance, in the department, we have teams on the ground in Uganda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as well as in Malawi, doing work on a variety of different tropical diseases. The conference was started, as you know now, 13 years ago by Dr. Abbasi with money from the American Psychiatric Association on a fellowship. And the conferences were so successful early that we decided we couldn't drop this kind of thing. They initially had a national reach, and now they really have an international reach. Pre-COVID, we were traveling up to a variety of different countries putting these on. And now with COVID, at least this year, it's become entirely online, but they really have a truly international reach, and it's been a remarkable thing. I think the two most remarkable things about the conference are, one, Dr. Abbasi said something about bringing people together, and it has been a place to bring people together in a very non-judgmental way, even with very controversial topics, which is a real tribute, I think, to the way Dr. Abbasi set it up. And the second is excellence. This has been a conference and continues to be a conference that's brought just terrific people together, terrific presentations, real excellence in a topic that I don't think is really treated in this depth anywhere else, as far as I know, in the world. And with that, I will say thank you and welcome all.
Thank you, Dr. Magen, and you are absolutely right. I myself was really touched and a bit overwhelmed when I was looking at the registrants list for this conference. And I see Dr. Hunker from UK and Sarah from California, but we have people coming from India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Cape Town in South Africa, Sweden. So it's amazing how the impact of this conference has grown, and it makes us realize how much the need is. And hopefully we will continue this process and continue to help support and develop these mental health infrastructures in other countries as well. I, like you, have always been a proud Spartan, but definitely one of the most important thing I'm grateful to the university is how steadfast they stood behind this vision. Even in the turbulent last decade, I have gotten immense support, encouragement, and testament to that is that today we have our Vice President and Chief Officer of Diversity and Inclusion, Dr. Jabbar Bennett. And I will invite Dr. Jabbar Bennett to please say a few words on behalf of the university.
Good morning, everyone. As you heard, my name is Jabbar Bennett, and I serve as Vice President and Chief Diversity Officer here at Michigan State University. And it's a pleasure to welcome you, to join in welcoming you to the 13th Annual Muslim Health Conference as we center the theme, Restorative Healing and Liberation in Context. And thank you to Dr. Farha Abbasi for inviting me to join you today. I'm glad to know that my office, which is the Office for Inclusion and Intercultural Initiatives, was able to help provide support for this event because our work is similar in that we work to promote healing, restoration, and liberation in various ways. And my office has done this work in different forms for 50 years under different names. Initially, we were focused on federal compliance-related regulations, but our work has evolved to really address critical contemporary issues related to ableism, bias, bigotry, discrimination, incivility, injustice, prejudice, racism, sexism, you name it, xenophobia of many, many forms and types. But my team and I partner with colleagues across campus to bolster support for healing and restoration that really moves toward individual and community health and well-being. So I mentioned talking about supporting the success of members of various underrepresented groups, and depending on the context, these could be racial and ethnic minorities, sexual or gender minorities, people who have different political ideologies, or those who engage in various spiritual practices or none at all. And despite these differences, one thing that we all have in common is the need to be holistically healthy. We must nourish our bodies, our minds, our souls every day in order to effectively live, learn, and work at MSU or anywhere else. So mental health is a topic that many people in communities don't like to talk about, or at least not in public. Because when we're honest about our own mental health and the struggles that we all face, we could be perceived as weak, ineffective, or even flawed. But as a person of faith and a leader at this institution, a university which works extremely hard to help ensure the safety and well-being of all students and employees, I acknowledge the key role of mental health and believe that those of us who seek support for mental health and provide the actual care are truly the most brave and noble among us. I'm sure you'll hear a lot about this today, but I just want to say for a minute, the stigma of help seeking prevents many of us from reaching our fullest potential. And the stigma doesn't support true liberation. It could actually lead to figurative or literal sense of confinement. And in the absence of encouragement from family members, friends, and communities at times, unacknowledged, undiagnosed, and untreated mental health challenges will always do harm. And not only do harm to us, but those same family members, friends, and communities in unexpected and, as you all know, often potentially irreparable ways. So I applaud the founders of this organization, of this event, for bringing attention to the real pain and trauma that many of our community members face here at MSU and beyond. The stress of school and work, along with COVID, and the impact of various forms of xenophobia, such as sexism and Islamophobia, are truly deadly. So Michigan State is committed to addressing these issues through education and providing the most accessible, culturally competent, empathetic, and quality care possible. And our work must acknowledge the complex nature, nuance, and personalized strategy of support necessary to promote individual healing and the internal and external pressures that may prevent or support this process. So I wish you all brave and noble students, trainees, and professionals the very best as you embark on this journey today to give light to those who feel consumed by darkness. So thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful words of wisdom and staying true to President Stanley's words that all of us here, all our contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Keeping with that spirit, I want to bring in the co-founder, we haven't really established who's older, who's younger, but he's definitely senior in academics and my mentor. I would like to bring in Dr. Hamada Hamid Altalib, and he's also established Institute of Muslim Mental Health, which is our community partner for the conference. So Dr. Hamada Hamid Altalib.
Thank you, Dr. Farha Abbasi. Assalamu alaikum. So Dr. Olubunmi asked me to open it with a dua or a quick prayer. So I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawmi. Rabbi zidna ilman. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an. And so, as diverse as our community is globally, and we come from different backgrounds, and professionally we come from different disciplinary backgrounds, we do have a shared tradition that we draw from. And when we work with our communities of diverse backgrounds, they share, that common tradition. And so the dua I shared, I'm going to translate it in a second, it really sets the frame and is something that most of us are familiar with. We always set the frame by starting with gratitude to God, followed by peace and blessings to the Prophet, his family, and his followers. And then I quoted the famous supplication or dua from Prophet Moses, which was literally open my chest, which in today's modern metaphor would be open our hearts. So, and this is really for the conference, to keep us open to listening to others and thinking about other people's perspectives. We all know that as therapists and counselors. Ease my experience. And so we wanted things to be easier for us. Cure the knots from our tongue is the translation. We know that from the Islamic tradition, Moses had a starter, and it's a double meaning. One is physically, sometimes we struggle, and even Moses himself, as grand and powerful as he was, he had this speech impediment. And so we kind of acknowledge that. But it's also communication, is let me be clear with my communication. That and again, setting the tone in terms of how we communicate, and let my people understand me. Now, the Arabic word has been informed through the word fiqh, which is a deep understanding that's applicable, so kind of wisdom. And then I ended it with increases in knowledge, and increases in knowledge that raises us. In other words, it's not esoteric knowledge, it's not theory, it's not ivory tower type of knowledge, it's applied knowledge. And so that's what we enjoy in this conference, is to think about how to share knowledge and information such that we apply it and make the conditions of our community better. Now, and with there, and on behalf of the Institute of Muslim Mental Health, I welcome all of you to the conference. It's an intense conference, and we look forward to engaging you and sharing ideas and experiences, both within the conference as well as outside the conference, and for days and the years to follow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It would be amiss if I don't acknowledge and mention Dr. Haleem Naim, the other founding member of the conference, my brother from other mother. Unfortunately, he, due to personal health concerns, he has not been able to join us, but we sent him a prayer for fast recovery and healing, and hope he will be back. But you can check his debonair picture in on the WOVA app. He made sure the picture is there. So Haleem, hopefully you are feeling better. So moving forward, I also want to thank the program committee, which was Dr. Hamada, Dr. Jed Magen, myself, Dr. Olubunmi Basirat, Dr. Lamis Shavarhin, Dr. Rania Awad, Dr. Latifat, and Dr. Shadi Shabak. So thank you all for the hard work. And they say that when you look forward, you see, when you look back, you see the path, and when you look forward, you see the road. And when I look forward, I see this amazing talent, new scholars, new leadership coming in, and we have been gladly handing over the baton to them. And so I would, in a minute, bring Dr. Olubunmi to talk about how they conceived this program and what does it mean by restorative healing? What are we trying to understand here in liberation in context? But before that, I also want to thank you quickly, our volunteer coordinators, Hamad Ali, Dr. Shuchi Khosla, and our volunteers, Neala Ahmad, and Mary Botros, Noor Haq, Akila Hussain, and Farha Misbah. So thank you all. Each one of this contribution has made the conference what it is. So moving forward to Dr. Bumi.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome everyone to our 13th annual Muslim Mental Health Conference. It's a really exciting time to be here. I'm so grateful that we're still able to do this, even though we're virtual. When we were deciding on a theme for this year, we aimed for it to be one that was reflective of the times that we are in, and for it to be one that directly addressed, quite frankly, the structural violence and oppression that have been ever present in our society and the multitude of traumatic events that we in our communities witnessed in 2020. We wanted to know how are we as mental health professionals tackling this? What are our roles in creating and changing these systems? How do we resist for change? How do we heal? How do we engage in liberation for those we serve, our communities, and even our own selves? And it was my phenomenal co-chair, Dr. Lamis Shawahin, who came up with the words to describe our theme. And she created the theme, created the title almost effortlessly. It really came from her. And I can't say enough about her contributions to shaping this year's conference. And as we are in the midst of the conference today, I recognize that our theme is ever more relevant. If we think about the weeks and months leading up to the conference, we've been witnessing ongoing violence and trauma. In the US context alone, we witnessed the insurrection. And while we've got vaccination rates, we've witnessed high rates of COVID and continued deaths. And this week, the killer of George Floyd is on trial. We've witnessed mass shootings. And just yesterday, a 13-year-old child was killed at the hands of police in Chicago. So we recognize it's a very heavy time. And our work as mental health professionals is especially important now more than ever. And so I'm grateful for this space, for this conference, and I look forward to the conversations that we have, the knowledge sharing, the healing, and the calls for action that will inevitably happen here. So thank you all again for being here. Welcome, enjoy the conference.
And sending special warm hugs and wishes to Dr. Shaheen Lamis. And hopefully she will be joining us in next coming conferences. I also want to acknowledge our co-host, Governor State University, which Dr. Shaheen is a faculty there, and we really appreciate they participating with us. We have many sponsors, co-sponsors, and I would encourage you to go look at the list, but I also want to extend thanks to University of Michigan for supporting this conference this year. We can compete on the playground, but we can collaborate when it comes to academics. So in that spirit, of course, last but not the least, the person who has been holding this whole conference together, has been there present every step of the way, and I've been texting her 3 a.m. If I think of something. I cannot thank you enough, Mary Firdausi. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Do you want to say something before we start? No, she's the silent force, but believe me, she is the glue keeping it all together. So thank you again. And thank you for all of you for being here. And without much ado, I had promised to keep my introduction short. So thank you, and we will move forward to the rest of the day. And remember, this is the safe place to be, to have these conversations, to connect, and to reach out. Please, if anyone has any concerns, questions, don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us. Thank you.
We're going to just have Hamad come in really quick to talk about the WOVA app, and then we will, inshallah, get started with the next panels.
All right, assalamu alaikum everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the 13th Annual Muslim Mental Health Conference. You've probably been receiving lots of emails from me. I've been bombarding your inboxes with the WOVA app. So I'm in charge of all the technical stuff, IT stuff. So if there's any issues throughout the conference with the WOVA app, with the Zoom links, please message me either within the app or you can email me directly. Just as a reminder, there are 3 tracks throughout this conference. Each track has its own Zoom link. The Zoom links are already embedded into the WOVA app, but you have options. You can either join into the Zoom sessions from the app from your phone, or there is also a web version of it as well, so you can watch the sessions on your laptop or on your desktop. Or if you want, you can reach out to me and I can send you the direct link for the Zoom links, so you can open it that way as well. Couple reminders, all the Zoom sessions will be recorded. So if you're unable to attend a specific session, or there's, obviously there's 3 tracks running simultaneously, so you want to be in two places. They all will be recorded, and inshallah, we plan to upload them all to YouTube as soon as possible, and then we'll be putting the links back into the WOVA app, so you can go back to it and watch the sessions at a later time. For those of you that are looking to get CME and CEU credits, please be aware that in order for you to receive the credits, you need to be watching the Zoom sessions from within the WOVA app. So either WOVA app or WOVA web link, but you have to be watching Zoom from those sessions so that we can record your attendance. And that's the only way you will be, we'll know that you were in the sessions. Also at the end of the conference, you do need to fill out the attestation form as well as the evaluation form. They're in the WOVA app, and we'll also be emailing them to you as well, so you can fill them out there as well. And I believe that's it. But like I said, if you have any questions throughout the conference, if you have any technical issues, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you out. All right, Jazakallah khair, and we wish you all a happy conference. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you out there.